Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have my Spookathon Tbr. So guys, I know what you're thinking, yet another readathon TBR. I am ambitiously taking part in a lot of readathons this October, the Spookathon of which is one of my favourites. I did take part last year and I don't think I did very well, and I'm not expecting to do amazingly well this time either. However, I really like reading challenges and, you know, I want to do a little bit more spooky reading, so we're gonna do this. So this is a readathon hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala, Shannon from Bookily, and Peter from Peter Likes Books, and it will run between the 15th and the 21st of October. Now, the main thing in this readathon is to read a thriller, which I don't read a lot of. You may have noticed that I did just do my entire own thriller TBR, which I will link up here if you have yet to watch that, where I essentially showed you all of the thrillers I have and asked you to pick one, and the one that was chosen is on this TBR. So the main challenge is to read a thriller, and it's essentially centered around thrillers and horrors and spooky books. However, if you watch my Charms Extra Credit Magical Readathon TBR, you will know that I have to read the books on my TBR this month. But I do have a few that are centered on villains, and I've managed to find a book that fits every challenge. So let's just get straight into it. The first prompt is to read a thriller. Now, as I said, I did put up that video and ask you guys to vote which one you wanted me to read. However, that vote ended in a tie, and two thrillers both got 8 votes each. The first one of those was Night Film by Marisha Pessel. This follows the daughter of a director. The director is a cult film director, I believe, and there's quite a bit of mystery surrounding him and his work. His daughter is found dead and they assume that she has committed suicide, but this just doesn't sit quite right with somebody, and they decide to investigate the film director and his daughter and maybe the weird happenings surrounding both of them and find out what actually happened. The second one was Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. This is about a woman who every night when she goes to sleep she loses all of her memories, so she kind of has to place a lot of trust in those around her to tell her what's been going on, tell her who she is. However, for some reason she starts to suspect that people aren't being honest, and maybe she doesn't actually lose her memories every night, but somebody is forcing her to lose her memories every night. So these two got the most votes. I have now put a poll on Twitter between these two, so you can vote and tell me which one of these two you would rather read. Now, I have set this so that it finishes the day that Spookathon starts, so if you are watching this on Sunday, the day that it is posted, you can head over to my Twitter, which is linked down in the description box, and vote which one of these two you would like me to read. Night Film is kind of chunky, so I'm a little bit scared of that one, but it does have some mixed media formats, so those pages shouldn't be like crazy hard to read. But these are my two options for the thriller challenge. The second challenge is one that I'm not sure that I am going to get to, and that is to read a book with purple on the cover. So I have once again chosen Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. This is a book about villains, which is why I think it's perfect for Spookathon despite not being a thriller or a horror. And this follows Catwoman, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, I imagine, as they create mischief around Gotham City. Now, I don't know too many people who have read this, but I did see a review the other day that says that it's like kind of fun. You can tell it's Sarah J. Maas, but it's nothing amazing, which is kind of what I expected from it. I do absolutely love Batman's villains. I think Poison Ivy would be my favourite of the three, so I am anticipating that I will enjoy this, and villains are obviously perfect for the spooky season. The next challenge is to read a book not set in the current time period, and this one is a little bit open to interpretation because I desperately need to read this book. This is the only one that doesn't really fit with the spooky theme, and you can now see what it is. But I need to read this book, and that is Terror of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. Another Maas book and Maas trash. This one follows Kale as he heads somewhere else to do something. Just being really vague, and it runs parallel to Empire of Storms, which I've just finished rereading. So I'm not really excited about this one because the way that Empire of Storms leaves off, you just want to dive into Kingdom of Ash. But I've heard that this one actually does form an important part of the core story. So, you know, I may end up really loving it. I really want to be following Selena and all of that, but if I have to follow Kale for a bit, then I have to get the most out of this series, which I absolutely love. So this one is open to interpretation because it's set in a fantasy world, so it's not set in any time period that we know of. However, if it was set in the real world, it would be a historical setting. They don't have technology or guns or anything like that, so it's very much like a typical fantasy setting, like medieval-esque. The next challenge is to read a book with a spooky word in the title, and I have chosen Sea Witch by Sarah Henning, which is a book that I am already 100 pages into, but I haven't read this in like a month. I put it down because I was slumping hard. The spooky word is obviously witch. Once again, this is a villain story. This is the origin story or a retelling of the Sea Witch in Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. I do believe that it sticks more closely to the fairy tale than to the Disney adaptation. But essentially when I was reading this, I was in a slump, so I didn't want to read anything anyway, and I kind of felt like it was just okay. It was just a typical young adult fantasy. However, as you may be able to tell, this is a library book and has to go back very soon, so I'd like to actually read it. So this book is set in Denmark and it follows 3 friends, one of which is a prince and the other 2 are girls. The book starts out where one of the girls is dying but somebody saves her, and then you jump to present day and the other girl is actually dead. The main character sees her as a mermaid, and this mermaid bears a very close resemblance to their dead friend, however claims not to be her. That is kind of the gist of this story. Don't really know where it's going, not really into it, but what I did read was very, very quick to read. I'm already 30% through, so I'm convinced that I can finish it during Spookathon. And then the last challenge is to read a book with pictures. So the only illustrated books I have are the Harry Potter illustrated ones, which I'm not really into reading right now. I have A Night of Cake and Puppets, which I can't read because I haven't read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and I have A Language of Thorns, which I only want to read when I do like a full Grisha reread. So aside from that, you could, if you were being generous, allow me to have Tower of Dawn, which kind of has like, they're not even pictures, it's just like decorated chapter headings, but not all books have them, so this is possible. Oh no, I just thought of something. So if Night Film wins the Twitter poll, which last time I checked it was, it's mixed media. It has pictures in, so that would be a perfect double up. The one that I was going to say for this, if I get to it, which is very unlikely, is that I still have just one graphic novel on my shelf that I haven't read yet, and that is Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Obviously a graphic novel, obviously has pictures. If I get to this, it's a very, very, very iffy if. But if I do, Monstrous would fit that challenge. So that is everything for my Spookathon TBR. Please let me know if you are taking part, and if you are, what books you are reading. Are you going for full thrillers and horrors, or are you mixing it up a little bit like me? I'm super excited for this one. I'm just getting my reading mojo back, and it's really annoying because I've been really slumpy, and now that I'm not, I have no time to read. Work is kicking my ass. Candles are kicking my ass. Everything is just like against me right now when I just really want to read. So I'm hoping that this readathon is going to be a great one for me. Please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to. And if you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.